So the big question everybody has been asking this week is what copy and what hero do we get when it comes to this special chest we get for clearing regular season 1125 stage. It gives you essentially a celestial hypogean chest that you get to pick who to go for. And well, we're going to talk about exactly that here today, because if you're working towards your M plus Reinier, you should probably continue doing that until he's built. However though, the big question comes in who to build next, or if you should grab a Talene copy from that. I feel like we've had a few days of testing Talene at one copy, free to play, and on a whale account. We have a pretty good idea of what she can do. So let's talk about it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's jump right into it. So this is the big decision, and right out of the gate, I just want you guys to know at this point in time, I think most people are wondering, should I grab a copy of Talene? And honestly, in my opinion, the answer is probably not. If you're free to play especially, I would hold off on her. Granted, most people that started the game very early on now have their Reinier at M+, even with some bad luck. As long as you've been playing properly, grinding out some PvP with all the changes to both events and guild medals and arena rewards, you're able to get the M+ Reinier much faster. In reality, you want to get him to here, and sometimes you even want to take him to +10 to give the ally that you're switching an additional amount of damage reduction. In reality though, the first part of it, just getting him to Mythic Plus, is very important because you want to increase the damage taken by 25% of the boss, and this is typically what is used on bosses. At the end of the day, for a free-to-play account, I will say going for Reinier is probably the best bet. So this is kind of turning into advice for those who now have M+ Reinier. Who do you go for? Do you start building your Talene up? And I think the answer is no. As good as she is in a lot of different game modes, she is a damage dealer at the end of the day, and damage dealers need what? They need a lot of stats. And you know how to get a lot of stats? With a lot of copies in order to increase these base stats up as high as possible. If you don't have those stats, she's still a pretty good damage dealer. As you guys saw with the one copy I ran, she at times does as much damage as my Supreme Plus Ulsa. But chances are, if you're already this far into the game, you already have damage dealers set up for multiple scenarios, whether it's Arden, Ulsa, Odie, Corrin, Merrily. They all fit a similar role of what Talene will do damage wise, and her damage isn't so impressive that you need to start building this hero. In reality, you should most likely be going for a copy of Scarlita, and Scarlita should most likely be your second built version. Now, a lot of people will say Scarlita needs to go to Supreme Plus to really be worthwhile. I don't necessarily think so, especially for pushing AFK stages. Yes, this is a huge amount of additional physical defense and magic defense, but nonetheless, she's still giving the shield to that ally on the battlefield, and it is a percentage of her own max HP. So once again, the more you have invested in her, to the better she does become. She does have the ability, if you do get her to Mythic Plus, to literally just, knock people off the battlefield as well. She has true damage as well, which comes in handy with certain Dream Realm bosses. And I think out of the rest of the heroes here, she is the most flexible at a low cost. DNL is one of those heroes that is specifically used for very late endgame whale PvP. If you're not a whale and you're not a PvPer, DNL is just not a needed hero. He can do some amazing AoE damage, but again, he is not needed. And I feel like Talene fills a similar role to him, except for AFK battles, so it's not really one you need. Of course, we've highlighted Beryl in the past. He is a cool hero, a niche hero. Zoo Comp can be really fun with him, but again, Zoo Comp is an expensive one to build, and even at the end of the day, it's not like the best of the best. It's just like maybe a third best team or something like that. Beryl is definitely a no-go. The only other real candidate I feel like talking about as your second built celestial / hypogean hero is Fresto. Fresto is really good, of course. You get him to Supreme Plus, he adds the shield. You get him to Mythic Plus, he has at +15, which is a heavy investment, which means you do technically need to get him, I think, to Supreme in order to +15 him. You don't get the additional illusion until you get it there, but either way, you start with that illusion, and starting with that illusion on the battlefield increases the survivability of your team. And if we take a look at AFK battles, he is the go-to tank in the game. However, if you're considering going Fresto, but you already have like a fully built Granny, you have a fully built Olmus or something like that, typically either one of them does a good job in comparison. If you're still running and your only tank is Thorin, Fresto will eventually be a better tank than your Thorn, because Thorn's more damage and damage mitigating for the one linked hero to him with his revives. And Tundra can do pretty okay when it comes to deficit pushing, but she does fall off pretty hard. Really, almost with the additional CC that he adds to heroes like Aaron is good, but at the end of the day, Fresto is just the best of the best. So again, number one goal, I think, for most free-to-play and low spenders still is going to Reinier to Mythic Plus. Do not take him beyond Mythic Plus. There's really not much need for that. He gets very little from it past that point, so try not to invest in him. And I don't think, again, once more, Talene is really worth it right now to go in on it. In reality, if you still have this chest, sit on it. If you already have the Mythic Plus Reinier, just sit on this chest. That's going to be the best thing you can do, because really it's going to come down to, in the weeks to come, to see how meta pushing is pushing. The real challenge here is Scarlita versus Fresto, and which one you go for and which one you start building. I feel like it was a very low investment. Scarlita is going to be the better out of the two as far as progression goes. But if you are going to go a little bit further in on a hero and you don't necessarily have a tank that you like Granny or Almas for pushing, and you're still kind of sitting on a Thorn, Fresto might be a pretty good pickup to run here. If you already have some of those heroes built up, I would not consider grabbing a single copy of any of these Celestial or Hypogean heroes. None of them are very usable with a single copy. So if you are looking at getting the first copy of something, sit on the chest, build up your guild medals, build up your stargazes, see if another Celestial Hypogean comes out by the time you're ready to summon for them, and then start building them up. Because I think you need, what, 10 copies, I think? It's like 8 or 10 copies to go to Mythic Plus. A lot of these you really want to go to Supreme Plus, because that is one trend I really don't like right now. If you take a look, plus 15 is where Fresto gets his meta-defining skill. If you come over here to Talene, the revive comes at plus 15 as well. I don't know if it really does that on the other heroes necessarily. No, Scarlita's isn't bad. Reinier's is at plus 10. Dianel, his is at plus 10. It's the newest two, Fresto and Talene, that you need to go to Supreme Plus in order to get that plus 15, or at least Supreme, which kind of sucks, honestly. I really hate the fact that you have to, but at the end of the day, I mean, you just got to pick what you think is going to be best for your own account. So let me know what you guys think. If you have a very unique scenario, leave a comment down below. I will try to read through them, give you some advice, and maybe everybody else in chat can help you guys as well. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.